This is your number one source for all things comics, movies, and pop culture. It's Geek Week with Chris and Nick.
You're tuned into Geek Week.
I'm Chris Natale.
And I'm Nick Rotundo.
To all those listening, thank you for joining our discussion.
And if you would like to hear any of our old episodes, be sure to check out our YouTube account, which is posted on our Facebook at www.facebook.com/geekweek885, as well as also be sure to check out our Instagram, which is, starting to be up and coming. We've started to build it up now. We just had our preview up today, which is at geekweek885.
Last week we mentioned our new segment that we're going to try to do each week, Dave's Picks of the Week. Dave is the owner of Comics on the Green in Scranton. So if you're ever in the area, guys, be sure to stop in. They have a great selection of back issues, graphic novels, action figures, and more.
So today's, this week's Dave's top picks are Superman number 18 by DC Comics. The writers are Peter J. Tomasi and Patrick Gleason, and the artist and cover artist are Patrick Gleason and Mick Gray. So this is Superman Reborn, Part 1, in DC Universe Rebirth number 1. The enigmatic Mr. Oz told this Superman, "You and your family are not what you believe you are, and neither was the fallen Superman." Now, in the first Rebirth crossover between Superman and Action Comics, the shocking truth behind Oz's words are revealed. It begins with one of Oz's prisoners escaping and ends in a tragic moment for Lois and Superman.
The next pick is Paper Girls number 12 by Image Comics. Writer Brian K. Vaughan, artist Cliff Chiang. Growing up can be deadly. And I'll read you just so you guys, I'm sure you guys don't know about Paper Girls, so I'm just going to read you the description from Volume 1, which collects issues 1 to 5. It's from Brian K. Vaughan, number 1, New York Times best writer of Saga, The Private Eye, and Cliff Chiang, legendary artist of Wonder Woman, comes the first volume of an all-new ongoing adventure. In the early hours after Halloween of 1988, 4 12-year-old newspaper delivery girls uncover the most important story of all time. Suburban drama and otherworldly mysteries collide in this smash hit series about nostalgia, first jobs, and the last days of childhood.
Those sound really good, actually.
Yeah, as I was saying, I was like, wow, this sounds awesome. Like, I definitely want to pick that up. I read Saga by Brian K. Vaughan. Me and my girlfriend still read it, and we're like kind of like catching up slowly but surely, and we love that series. You read one issue, you read like 4. Like, you can't stop reading it. It's so good. His writing is awesome.
And that Superman one too even sounded like awesome.
I definitely want to pick up the trade for that, like the graphic novel for that in the future, just to like see what it's about and things.
The whole storyline.
Yeah, it just sounds really cool. And now they introduced like the Super Sons and everything, with his son and then Bruce, Damian Wayne and everything. Like,
I do have to ask, cool. What did they name his son? Because I actually did not know.
I think it's Jonathan Kent after like his John
that's
Kent.
Awesome.
I think so.
That is awesome.
I could be wrong, but I think that's it. All right, guys. So, a little special thing we're doing this week. We usually don't read poetry and things like that, but suggested by Sarah Guile, one of my friends, I'm going to read We Wear the Mask by Paul Lawrence Dunbar. And this is just because of the theme of cosplay and things like that. I thought this really fit with the show, and like Nick agreed. So I'm just going to go ahead and read that. We wear the mask that grins and lies. It hides our cheeks and shades our eyes. This debt we pay to human guile. With torn and bleeding hearts we smile. And mouth with myriad subtleties. Why should the world be overwise in counting all our tears and sighs? Nay, let them only see us while we wear the mask. We smile, but O great Christ, our cries to thee from tortured souls arise. We sing, but oh, the clay is vile, beneath our feet and long the mile. But let the world dream otherwise, we wear the mask.
That is just awesome. And honestly, I do agree. Like, as we said before, this fits perfectly with this week's topic, which is Cosplay 101. So to all those listening who are, skeptical about cosplay, who don't know what it is or, are against it or whatever, before you make your final judgment, tune into this episode, listen to it, and, you'll see what cosplay really is. So before our first half of the show is going to be what it is and why is it important. So, Chris, why don't you start off with that?
So after doing some research, I found an article on Business Insider, and they define cosplay as the combination of the words costume and play. Cosplayers, the people who partake in cosplay, dress as their favorite characters from comics, video games, anime, manga, movies, and television.
So with that, we have a quote here. It says, the best supported origin story on the internet says that in 1984, Nov Takahashi, founder and writer for the anime publishing company Studio Hard, was sent to Los Angeles to cover the Worldcon science fiction convention. And he was impressed by the fans' costumes and the elaborate displays at the masquerade. And when he returned to Japan, he coined the term to describe what he saw. So, yeah, I'm sure I have a lot of, anime fans just really angry at
Takahashi.
Yeah, I butchered that name, and I apologize.
No Takahashi.
But I do agree that is like a good, overall definition of what cosplay kind of is. But when we get it after the break, we're going to talk about like what it actually means to certain people. So, but before that, let's stick on the whole overall gist of what cosplay is.
So I found a scholarly article. It's titled, the journal's titled Intensities, the Journal of Cult Media. It's created by Matt Hills and Sarah Gwendolyn, oh my gosh, I can't read either, Jones. It was a refereed journal addressing all aspects of cult media. It is published twice a year, and it featured a study on cosplay. And this was done by Dr. Robin S. Rosenberg and Andrea M. Letamendi. It was titled Expressions of Fandom, Findings from a Psychological Survey of Cosplay and Costume Wear. I thought this was great because it's like I didn't think there would be a scientific study on something like this. I just didn't think it existed. But when I saw this, I was like, we have to add this to the show. This was great. So, Nick, why don't you just take us into their definition of what cosplay actually is?
So, with that, cosplay, or short for costume play, is the modern practice of wearing costumes, props, and accessories to represent a character. Typically, cosplay is the extension of a person's fandom for the character or genre, such as science fiction and fantasy, anime and manga, comic books, and other creative media. The purposes of cosplaying can vary, but include the expression of adoration of the character, enjoying attention or approval from audiences/peers, and experiencing the creative process of the costume construction.
I thought this was compared to the Business Insider one, I thought this was the perfect definition, considering like the adoration factor for the character and just experiencing the creative process, because I think that's really what cosplay is about. How creative people can get with their costumes and the money, the time, and the effort they put into it.
Oh, I completely agree with you there. Like to me, that is what cosplay is all about. To me, it's all about like, if you have a love for a character and you just want to express that to the world and like show how much you like, it's an honor to step into the shoes or the boots or the socks or whatever that, or the feet of the character that you're playing as.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I really, even going to Comic Cons, I always see these really cool people dressed up in these cool costumes. I'm like, oh, hey guys, can I take a picture of you? Like, cool. And this is great. And like, I just love the detail they put into it. Some people just come in, and one guy looked like Wolverine. He was wearing the whole like yellow and brown suit with the claws. And I was like, and he was a jack guy. Like, I mean, no pun intended, Hugh Jackman, but he was a pretty big guy. And like, I was like, all right, this guy looks like Wolverine to me. Like, this guy literally could pull it off, and you could tell that he cared because he took pictures with fans. Little kids came up to him and took pictures with him, and people loved it. So.
And so what I've seen two different aspects, because I've gone to Comic-Con as well. I went in 2013, so with my uncle. So with that, I saw two different aspects. I saw people that cosplayed that, they were just themselves, just dressed up like, hey, I'm a Power Ranger. Yeah, cool, whatever, that kind of thing. Like, I enjoy doing it. But, like, then there's the other people that, like, hey, can I take a picture? Your Spider-Man costume's great. What do you mean costume? I am Spider-Man. Like, they become that character, and they just, like, if you're, like, talking to somebody and they're Deadpool, like, they'll talk to you like, hey, how's it going, man? Chimichangas. Like, they'll just keep going. Like, they'll be that
That's
character.
like going to Disney and, like, seeing all the, like, the princesses and people, because they have to stay in character, and that's their job.
Exactly.
So that's awesome. And like one of my ideas for like cosplaying, I always thought I wanted to go to the hospital and be Batman and little kids and like give them a bunch of little toys. And I always like thought about that. I always thought that would be so nice to like help kids out. And like I've always had a passion to like help kids kind of. And I don't know. I don't know if I can get into cosplay because I've never actually tried it. So I can't really like, mark it off the list or anything. But
that is on my bucket list. I will say that.
It'd be cool to like, I think I tried it one time, but it was just like, a cheap costume for like Halloween. But
well, you start from somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought about this, going back to the study, these facts right here, I thought they were really cool. They found this in previous research that they did before they wrote this, and they said that in their the previous psychological research that they found, that wearing a mask can shift people's experience of themselves and their behavior. For instance, when stutterers in one experiment wore a mask, they stuttered less. And in another study, children who wore masks compared to children who didn't wear masks were more likely to take, aka steal, extra candy when the experimenter left the room. And in another study, participants wore a mask. They reported feeling less aware. And that is pretty much they had less self-focused attention on themselves, and they felt less aware of themselves as individuals. And I thought I was like, wow, wearing a costume really can change it could change it a lot. It's not just about putting it on and entertaining people. It can make you feel more confident about yourself. It could really make you feel less self-conscious about things that you might not even think about that, because at the time you're I'm Spider-Man. I'm wearing a Spider-Man costume. I'm Spider-Man. Wearing a Batman costume. I'm Batman. I don't care what anybody says. I think it's really cool. I like that fact about that stuff.
And I feel the characters, if you pick a certain character, for me, Spider-Man is so relatable, or for you, Batman might be relatable to you, or whatever, whoever, someone might want to dress up as Sora from Kingdom Hearts.
Mm-hmm.
It's just any character, whatever's relatable to you. If something's relatable to you and you dress up as it, it's kind of I'm stepping into their shoes or boots or whatever, and I feel what they feel, or I'm doing that character justice. You know what I mean? So
no pun intended. So Nick, what was your first experience with cosplay? What was the first thing you said, I want to make a costume? What was that? What was your first?
For me, I mean, it's back and forth. I can think of two instances. One, I mean, as a kid, I can remember always watching the Toy Story movies and Spider-Man movies, and I want to be Buzz Lightyear. I want to be Spider-Man. And so, I remember back before I moved to Jersey, when I was living in Staten Island, one Halloween, my dad, we bought a Buzz Lightyear costume for Halloween, and my dad, it didn't have the wings. So my dad took, foam and made the wings for me.
That's awesome.
So, I had, real, they looked like the wings, and I would put them on with, string or whatever, and I'd run around flying like Buzz Lightyear.
Buzz Lightyear is an awesome character.
Oh, yes, without a doubt.
I remember when I was younger, I would wear a Batman costume every year. I would just throw it on and be
It was Buzz Lightyear every year, and then it became Spider-Man every year.
Yeah, it was just, I don't know. I guess I had this thing because I was really inspired by the Batman the Animated Series, and I was I want to get a Batman costume, Grandma. Can we go out and get a Batman costume? She's like, yeah, we can go out and get a Batman costume. So I did, and I took pictures of my best friend who lived next to me. Every year we took a Halloween picture, and it was the same. She would change hers, and then mine would just be Batman over and over, and either I got taller, I got wider, or something. It was just funny to look at, and flip
just
through
flip
them.
book.
Yeah, it was a flip book pretty much, and that was great. That was probably my first ever time wearing a costume when you're a kid. You have this imagination as a kid. Some people you may not have now as you get older. I mean, I'm not saying you lose it, but as a kid, your mind's all over the place. You're just thinking about all the creative things and just kind of have fun and everything.
So besides that, aside from as a child, for Halloween, or want to be dressed up how, I want to be a superhero or an astronaut or whatever, dressing up. Outside of being a child, what was the first experience you had of, I would like to try cosplay, or, that is really cool, I enjoy that, I would be into doing that?
My first experience with cosplay was probably when I wasn't at school at the time. I was working at Brookstone, and I was really into Arrow, that series, and I love Merlin. He was my favorite character. It was so cool. He was played by John Barrowman, awesome actor, and I just loved the character. And I was like, you know what? I want to be the Dark Archer for Halloween. I want to do that. And my friend was like, yeah, you should. So what did I do? Oh my gosh, this is great. I didn't make any part of the costume, guys. I'm going to say right now, I'm a fake cosplayer. I mean, I went to Spirit Halloween. I bought this medieval assassin thing, this outfit, and it was perfect because it had it was a darker color and everything. But then I went to Michael's Crafts, arts and crafts store, and I bought 4 cans of black spray paint. And my friend, I had also went to Toys R Us and bought a fake bow and everything. My friend helped me color it black and all that. She drew a really cool design on it. I still have the costume in my basement. I only wore it one time to this kind of cosplay event in New York, which is pretty cool. and that was it. And like I saw someone who was Arrow, and I got into like the mode. I was like, yeah, I'm Dark Archer. What's up, man? Like I was just like sitting there, and he saw me from afar, and he knew exactly who I was. And I walked up to him, and we just walked up to each other. And then some person was like, "Can I get a picture of you guys?" It's like, "Yeah, man, do it." Like, and it was
awesome.
like it wasn't the greatest costume. Like he looked like he
Yeah.
actually made his. Mine was just like like spray painted on, really like tough and rugged because it was spray paint and like the fabric didn't work well with it. But it was a lot of fun. I don't know. It was really cool, and I wish I could do more with that. And I wish I kind of was able to take the time and do it. I feel like some people just have that time, or they make time for it, and like it's not one of my big things, but it was a lot of fun for what it was.
I agree. I mean, for me, after childhood, the idea of cosplay kind of came about when, I saw a couple friends were doing it, as well as, fan films and stuff like that. When I started to really get into, our whole track of broadcasting mass comm, because I loved movies so much, I was like, I would be so cool to do like a movie, like just to create a movie. And so, I mean, my buddy, Dan, who we'll talk about later, cosplays a lot as Batman, Superman, Wolverine, Doctor Strange recently, Cassian from the new Star Wars Rogue One. Like the list goes on and on. He's been doing it for a really long time. So we'll talk about that after the break, but I will say that was a big influence.
Yeah,
seeing his fan film finally come out, and also, seeing a lot of fan films in general. Like for me, watching those fan films, like I'm a big Spider-Man fan, so the Spider-Man fan film community, we've talked about this previously in a other episode of Geek Week. It's terrible, honestly. There's like some good ones out there, but it's terrible for the most part. And me seeing that, being a mass comm student, I was like, if there's something out there that I have in my head and I can't find it out there, that means it wasn't done yet. So I should go do it. So the idea of like cosplay, I was like, I should make a fan film. And that's where it kind of like started. I wrote scripts, I drew up like designs for costumes, stuff like that.
That's really cool. I definitely appreciate fan films. I from time to time I catch myself searching YouTube just for anything to see what people make about certain characters and superheroes. Like usually I think I found a really cool Darth Maul one. It's called Darth Maul the Apprentice, done by Sean Boo.
Oh, God.
I reached out to him and I was like, hey man, I just got to tell you, your work is amazing. Like the shots you made, the costume design, all that. He was like, thanks man, I really appreciate the support. And it was great because I really didn't think he'd get back to me, because certain people like that are like a little flaky, but he actually got back to me and like said like, thanks man, I really appreciate it. Like I really
like
worked hard on it. Yeah, Isma Hawk with his Nightwing series, Danny Shepard, and I think I can't remember the other guy's name for some reason.
Jeremy Lee?
Jeremy Lee.
Is that it?
I think it's Jeremy Lee or something like that. Probably. They're awesome. They made that together. Nightwing the series was great for what it was, and some people give it like a little like slack here and there, and they're like, nah, that was okay. I'm like, I don't think so. I think these guys were straight out of film school. They took the time to do it. They put the money into it. They had a GoFundMe, or I forget what other thing they call it. I'm not sure the name of it, but they had something like that where people donated money to them, and they had enough money to do it. So they did it, and people can't say there's another Nightwing series out there that was like theirs, because they had episodes. They did like long episodes.
And it was an original story for the most part. Like,
yeah, it was cool. It was
they took obviously
Deathstroke in there. You have Red Hood in there. You have Nightwing. You have Bruce Wayne make an appearance, not as Batman, but just as Bruce Wayne, and it's. I don't know. It's really cool, and you have Barbara Gordon as well. You have a famous scene from a certain book. I don't know if I want to mention it because it'd be a spoiler. I'm going to say it anyway. I don't care. Spoiler alert, guys. Just saying, you don't want to hear this, just skip ahead by like a minute. It's the Killing Joke scene they had in there with like. Oh yeah, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I've never seen a live action Killing Joke scene. Obviously, we have the animated movie with Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy. We have the Killing Joke, the book by Brian Boland and Alan Moore. But this was live action like Killing Joke, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is great. When she fell on the floor, it was like panel for panel for most part. I mean, Jim Gordon wasn't in the apartment at the time, but it was still like effective. It was great.
Yeah, without a doubt. It was that series to me. That was that series and my buddy's series were probably the two biggest series that I saw that I was like, this is something I really want to do at some point. Like to me, that was just the epitome of anybody can do anything from anywhere, as 21 Pilots said at the Grammys.
Wow. Way to shoehorn that in there. Yeah, I also like Bat in the Sun. They did a lot of cool stuff. They had Batman City of Scars, which is fantastic. They have Kevin Porter. He's like an actor. He has his own Instagram and everything. He played an awesome like Bruce Wayne / Batman.
Yeah, and the fact that he actually, besides being like doing fan films for like Bat in the Sun and also Ismahawk, Kevin Porter's actually been in movies.
Yeah, he was in
Dodgeball.
He was one of the guys on with what's his name? I can't think of his name.
Blazer Laser. He's one of those two guys.
Yeah, something like that.
And he was also in. I mean, we hate this movie, but it's great that he was in it. He was in Ben Affleck's Daredevil movie.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was one of Elektra's bodyguards.
That's really cool. I'll have to go back and like look at that scene. That's interesting. Yeah, it's just cool to see those kind of things. Bat in the Sun does these really funny skits where they'll have like Bruce and Dick talk in the Batcave, and it's like he's like, "So Bruce, how would you take down the Justice League?" And he's like, "Well, I do this, and that." And then it was just like really funny because the ending. Guys, go watch that video. It's hilarious. I watched it with my girlfriend a few times, and we crack up at it. It was great. Yeah, like I said, Bat in the Sun. You know. Check these guys out. Ismahawk, Sean Boo. I don't remember the name of his actual production, but I know it's called Darth Maul the Apprentice. So definitely check that out. But it's cool to see these people because this is what cosplay is. Like, I mean, you see these people dress up in these costumes, and you also it's like they make it into movies, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's like people expressing their creativity, and anyone can do cosplay. Like, I don't care who you are. You can be 70 years old. You could be Alfred for all I care. Like dress up in a suit or whatever. Like do something. You can be Batman. You can be older Batman if you want. I don't care. I
hate to mention this to you. Did you see the two people that dressed up as Martha and Thomas Wayne and would walk up to every Batman and fall on the floor?
That's hilarious. I think that's a great idea. Yeah.
In Comic-Con, yeah, they did that.
Sarah was actually talking about this really cool idea for other Batman stuff. Her friend was going to be Barbara Gordon with the bullet in her spine.
Ooh.
And she was going to be Jason Todd after he was beaten by the Joker.
That's awesome.
It's like pre-transition into what they become, you know? Like she becomes Oracle, he becomes Red Hood, but it's before. It was such a cool idea. Sarah was telling me today, and I was like, that's amazing. Like, people, think of this. My idea for a costume, actually, a cosplay one, I wanted to do this a while ago, and I had my friend Benny, who's big into cosplay. He's awesome. I had him make me a lightsaber from Star Wars Force Unleashed. It was Galen Marek, aka Starkiller's lightsaber that he like holds like in a weird, like a different way and backwards, yeah. And he made it for me. And I was going to do this thing where I was going to do half Sith on one side and half Jedi on the other.
Yes.
And I was going to have like just like, you know, the Sith eye and just like the whole dark robe on the one side and the whole white robe on the other, or like brown lightish brown robe on the other, and just kind of do that. That was an awesome idea. And like that's an idea I have. I haven't obviously done it, but like it'd be cool to see it. I don't know.
As for me, I think, number one, I think would be a custom Spider-Man suit that I designed myself. I think that, you know, I wouldn't obviously make it, unfortunately. I don't have that skill. But if you send designs to certain people, like I follow a bunch of people who make these things. So, you know, the RPC Studio is a huge organization that does this. Crazy Frankie is a guy, I follow him on Instagram, where, you know, he makes these suits, like the templates for them on Photoshop and stuff, and emails you the templates to go send it to, you know, Zentai Zone or Zentai or just any place, RPC Studio as well. And, you know, all these different people, Webhead Designs, they make these suits for you. So if you can say, I want a Todd McFarlane or a Mark Bagley Spider-Man suit, or I want a, I don't know, Scott Snyder Batman suit, they'll make that. And they'll design it, like they'll look at all the comics and get references, make it as accurate as possible, and send you that to go send it out to somewhere else. Or you can send it your own design, which I think is really cool. So I would definitely do that. You know, I've thrown around Nightwing as well. I don't know what else I've done.
You threw around like a Greaser's assassin.
Yes, I did.
A while ago, and I was like, that's actually really interesting.
So like a 1950s Greaser, who would be like the Assassin's Creed, like if it existed during that time, because you know the game never actually went that far. Or a World War II assassin, that would be cool. Or a realistic Captain America, like in modern times, like he'd wear the actual camo and everything.
That's cool. Yeah. Cosplay is an interesting thing, man. I gotta say, like, I love just seeing what people bring to cons and things like that. And I've said it already, but it's just a lot of fun going to cons and seeing that and taking pictures. But there is one, I think it was 2015. I think I went, no, it was last year. I went with Sam and other Sam Savata, whose show would be coming up later. But and and there was this huge Hulkbuster Iron Man suit.
I saw that
and
online.
I was walking around, and I was like unbelievably tall. Like I gotta say, like probably 8 feet tall. Like it was big. It was like the size of what the movie would have, like in the movie it would have been like kind of maybe a little smaller, but like it was amazing. I've never seen anything like that. And the Avengers were walking around with it. Like you saw Black Widow and Cap and all them. It was like and Thor, like they're rolling in deep. And I was like, you guys are like a crew just walking around. And everybody's like back up, and like people taking pictures and all this. And it was insane. And after part of the time, like the person took the helmet off and just walked around in the suit, and I was like, what? This is amazing. The little kid in me just kind of screamed inside, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's the Hulkbuster. You know, it's just
that's what I love about that stuff, though. Like, I mean, for me, I mean, I know Stan Lee. I got to meet Stan Lee once when I was at Comic-Con 2013, and that was just awesome. Like, I shook his hand. He signed a comic for me. I shook his hand. I looked him right in the face, and I said, thank you. Thank you for everything you've ever done. It's an honor meeting you, sir. And like for giving me everything that you've created. And like he said, oh, thanks, and like, you know, hand me back the comic. But like the little things like that, like I've seen pictures online where cosplayers come out and they take pictures with Stan Lee. Like you can pay for either like a picture with him, or you can pay to go get a comic signed by him or something. So like to go meet him and take a picture with him while you're dressed up as like Spider-Man or like anything. Like I've seen pictures where like someone met him and as dressed up as Spider-Man, and they wrote that they wrote that he said to them like, wow, that's fantastic. Like, I can't believe you've actually done that. Like, it's insane.
They took the time, and it was like their adoration for the character, and he sees that, you know, he's just like, and that's awesome. Like, I wish I could have met Stan Lee. That would have been cool. I met Scott Snyder and like Greg Capullo and those guys, and Benny was doing it was great. His costume was called the Raider of the Lost Ark, and he did like an Indiana Jones, except he had an Iron Man chest piece in it. So Raider of the Lost Ark with an ARC, and it was so like cool. And there was some guy dressed up as Santa Claus, and he literally looked like Santa Claus. Like
that's awesome.
And I was like, hey, Santa Claus, can I get a picture with you? He's like, oh, sure. I'm just like, oh my gosh, this guy right now. Just the people you meet at cons is great.
Yeah, I mean, like, Harley's Joker is probably one of the most famous cosplayers.
He was very theatrical. I will say that.
That is actually a funny story. We'll get into that more after break with, like, you know, the fan film of my buddy. He actually got to play the Joker for my buddy's fan film, which is the Batman Chronicles. It's a 3-part series. Dusk, Night, and Dawn are the 3 parts. But, like, he got Harley's Joker to play the Joker for him. And honestly, as much as, you know, you can't get Mark Hamill to do a live action. You can't get that voice. But to me, that was just unbelievably awesome to see. Like, him do the laugh, him do the voice, him do as much as he can, like, to portray that character. And, you know, seeing him at Comic-Cons and stuff like that, he goes really into the character. He'll hold a crowbar and put it around your neck as you're taking a picture and smile. So, like, you have fun with it.
He was pretty awesome when I saw him. Like, everybody's taking pictures with him. He was getting all, like, he was different poses for every different picture.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't like he did the same pose twice. He would just keep changing. And I was like, that's awesome, dude. And I love seeing that kind of thing. And you were saying about Mark Hamill, like, being a live-action Joker. I mean, I feel like that's been done because, like, he kind of is the trickster on Flash, and that's pretty much the Joker in a nutshell.
Right.
If you just throw makeup on him and then give him
especially the Earth 2 one that they did.
Yeah, that I don't know if I've seen that one, but I did see the episodes of Mark Hamill, a few of them, a couple of them that he was in, and he was very good for like a trickster character. I thought he was a lot. But I keep seeing the Joker. I can't even see the trickster.
Oh, I know.
I'll always see the Joker in him, no matter what.
But either way, the whole point of this conversation, of this episode, which we'll get into more after the break, is, you know, this is what cosplay is all about. It's a community of people. It's like the new Guardians of the Galaxy trailer said for Volume 2. No, we're not friends. We're family. Like to me, it's like that community is like a family. They meet up with each other. They plan ahead of, like, you know,
events.
Yeah, like so
that,
at this time on this day during Comic-Con. So like the Saturday of Comic-Con at noon, we're all going to meet up at this this particular area of the Javits Center, and we're going to take a picture of, like, anybody that's dressed up like an X-Men, or anybody that's in Spider-Verse, or, you know, Batman's mythos, or anything like that. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there. A couple of my friends do cosplay, and they said the same thing about it. And when I went to that, like, event when I was dressed up as Dark Archer, it was so many people there, and everybody's just having a great time talking to each other and just like, you know, hanging out, taking pictures and everything. And it was pretty much like just a community, like a family, like you were saying. And it really gets, I feel like it really gets some people to come out of their shells too. Like they're able to be like a different character, but also be themselves. You know?
Oh, definitely. You know, some people put a spin on like the character and stuff like that. But ultimately, that is just amazing to see.
I agree.
So with that, we're going to take our quick halfway break. We got 3 songs for you guys. They have a theme. We'll get into that theme, I guess, right after the break. Try to see if you can guess what it is. But before that, I will say, after the break, we'll get into more talks of, certain people's talking about, what cosplay means to them personally, as well as cosplay is not consent, which is a relatively new topic coming up in Comic-Con and stuff like that. So with that, we are back. That was Joey Ramone with his song New York City, which came out in 2012, I should say. But Nick, Joey Ramone passed away in 2001, you say. Well, this was a posthumous album called You Know that came out in 2012. Great stuff. That's actually the first time I heard it today. Like I found the song earlier today, and I just was like, this is a perfect song. I love this song. And it just fits the Joey Ramone style. And before that, you heard Wu-Tang Clan with their song Protect Your Neck. And before that, you heard the Beastie Boys with their song No Sleep Till Brooklyn. So, Chris, you know this theme. I know this theme. My mom actually texted me and guessed it right. Yes, it is a theme of New York City. So, as we're going to say later on, at the end of the episode, we're going to New York City this weekend. Very excited for that, and it is all because of the fact that our show is nominated for the IBS Awards for Best Talk program in college radio. So, I mean, dude, I'm so stoked for that
For
trip.
a second there, I thought you were doing a new segment where you talk to yourself, but like now I understand that we're going to talk about, I was like waiting for it. I was like, wait a second, is he having a conversation with himself? I don't know. I couldn't tell. I was like, all right. Well, yes, we're excited for New York City. It's going to be great. Really looking forward to that. But now we're just going to get back into cosplay real quick, just to kind of come full circle here. We're going to talk about like kind of different kinds of cosplays, like, the costumes people make and things like that, but there's also different kinds of forms of cosplay, I should say. And our friend Molly McMullen actually does a quicker form, I would say, of doing it by using body paint. She's done Scorpion from the Mortal Kombat game series, Vault Suit from the Fallout game series, and Tiny Tina from the Borderlands game series, Harley Quinn from DC Comics, and her own version of the horror folktale Bloody Mary. They're all really cool. She's done this a while before. I think it's like some kind of cosplay that she really enjoys doing, and it's kind of from here up, like kind of the neck, like around the neck up, and it's cool to see that, just to see like how much, and she puts a lot of time into it. I would say. So I think that's pretty cool. I don't know. The paint, I would imagine, probably takes a little bit longer to get off, but it's still like interesting.
Definitely. I think that's really cool too. I know a lot of like, different aspects of cosplay, and like that is another big one besides, actual costuming is painting. So I think that's really cool too.
And some people go with paint like at conventions, like it's happened before.
I feel like almost in a way, it's almost more creative than it is like, building these suits. I mean, don't get me wrong, that is an art in itself, but actual having to paint every little detail on a body is just incredible.
It's really cool. Yeah.
So with that, we will also talk about another one of our friends, my buddy from back home, Dan Petruccio. You know him from previous episodes. We've talked about him, and earlier in the episode I talked about his fan film 3-part series, The Batman Chronicles. He also did the Joker voice for us for our intro and outro for episode 12.
It was a Joker themed episode.
Yeah,
I gotta just look that up.
Episode.
We're lost with numbers here.
Oh, I'm pretty sure that's 12, but
maybe you're right.
But yeah, no, that guy, he's a really good guy and just unbelievable with everything he does. And he sent us, I messaged him, and he was able to send me a couple paragraphs about cosplaying. So after I read this, after you listen to the show, go check out his Facebook and Instagram, which is DJP Costuming. Great stuff out of there. He does Batman, Captain America, what else? I mean, Wolverine, Superman. This guy, like anything he puts on, he becomes that character. He looks perfect for the role.
Who's the guy from Rogue One?
Cassian.
Yeah, that was really cool too.
Yeah.
He like really makes the cosplays work from what I've seen, and somehow he looks like the character in every one of them. Like, I was like, what is this? Like, this guy's like, what is this sorcery that he's doing here? Like, I don't even know.
And Doctor Strange.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
really
the
cool.
list goes on and on. But yeah, so what he wrote was, since I was 13, I have been doing what's been referred to as cosplaying. It's this magical hobby where you not only fabricate and lovingly create pieces of your favorite characters' costumes, but you have the tremendous responsibility to go out and be the caretaker of your character at conventions full of your peers. Cosplay has been a community of great friends for me. It's been a safe haven, and it's been the community of fans that helped me grow as a costumer and as a creator. They push me to work harder in the gym, and they inspire me. It's not just about myself for me. It's about putting groups together of like people and characters, putting costumes together with my brother as we did as children. If I can make a child light up like I would have when they meet their favorite superhero, then I've done my job. It doesn't come without its flaws, though. You know, cosplay has changed a lot. For one thing, people use it as a money-making scheme to take quote-unquote sexy pictures as characters and sell them online and at cons. And people take advantage of their fan bases, and even for people to find their costuming fully through the web. Fund their costuming fully through the web, I should say, as well. This kind of behavior is so odd and new to the community, and actually takes away merit from those that spend almost a year piecing costumes with love and tact. But what I do love is stepping into the boots of a superhero or a Star Wars character. You are undeniably responsible for every interaction with a child. They come up to you knowing exactly who you are to them, and you have to be prepared for every question a kid can throw at you. Where's the Batmobile? Superman, why aren't you flying? Well, the Batmobile got totaled by the Joker, and if I was flying, Lex Luthor would find out where I am, and I need to protect all of you. And in the end, I am a child inside, just like them, if only for an hour while wearing my cape. Like that, just all.
Yeah, that was awesome.
There's no words to describe that, man. Like, Dan is a great guy, and ultimately, like as Chris said, like I sent that to you, and you said, I don't even know this guy, but I could tell this is such a genuinely good guy. Yeah,
he's passionate about this. Like he really pours out his passion on like in this writing itself, and he makes cosplay just seem like it's something otherworldly than like to him. It's like something that puts him in a different setting and makes him a different person and really makes him want to inspire. And that's amazing. Like,
yeah,
that's,
like to
I think
me,
that's
just
great.
about that is how I see cosplay as well.
I think that's why I love superheroes, because Batman inspired me when I was younger, and
exactly.
I eventually overcame what I was dealing with. And it's just like these things we can help the future generations with like, superheroes, I think. And they're such good role models. And I'm not saying they all make the right decisions. I'm just saying that their, I guess, persona and how they hold themselves is what really draws people to them, and I kind of feel that it really relates to me. In that sense.
Go to anywhere in this entire earth, basically, and show them the Superman logo, the Batman logo, the Spider-Man logo. I mean, like the golden arches of McDonald's, the Apple logo. Like certain things are so recognizable and iconic. Yeah. So. Just that, like, to me, having superheroes and like what they stand for, like even the symbol, like as they say in the DCEU now, it's not an S, it stands for hope from where I'm from. So like to me, like, it's so iconic to like anybody can just be like, oh yeah, that's a Superman logo, and they know what that means, and they know what he stands for.
It's awesome, and I'm going to say Batman because you just went to Superman. I'm going to Batman. Sometimes I would go out and I'd be wearing a Batman t-shirt. I would see a little kid with a Batman hat. I was like, nice hat, dude. He's like, thanks, I like your shirt. And it's awesome because like we relate on that level. We don't know each other at all, but like we relate on the level that we both appreciate Batman. And it's cool to connect with people like that. Like I've had people come up to me and say, dude, your shirt's awesome. It'd be like the red Batman Beyond one, and people would recognize it and be like, and I would think not all people know about Batman Beyond because it's such a different world of Batman. It's not the like iconic yellow symbol with the bat inside it. It's just a different symbol. But so people were like, "Oh, dude, I love your shirt. Awesome. Where'd you get it?" I was like, "At the boardwalk," and then they got it made. But it's cool. I love it. I love this stuff. I really do. I don't know how many times Nick's heard me talk in class about Batman or give a presentation on Batman or somebody else. But
vice versa about Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's like we love this stuff. This is why we're here. This is why we do this radio show. And
it's not everybody's cup of tea. I'll agree with that. So not everybody's into cosplay or comic books or whatever.
Yeah,
and it is an expensive hobby. I'll be honest with you. Some things cost a lot more than others. But if you're willing to shell that out and be able to become a character for a day, an hour, or filming an entire fan film, whatever it is. I mean, if that brings joy to you, then I don't know what else to say there.
Your parents are probably listening to this and like, oh my gosh, he's really trying to get us to let him cosplay. I could just imagine what they're like as they're listening to this. As your mom listening to this,
using Geek Week for my own purposes.
It's great. We're gonna get into one last thing, and then we're gonna talk about another thing coming out tomorrow. But it's called Cosplay is Not Consent. Nick talked about this earlier, and it's like a new thing that goes on Comic-Con. I think it came around in New York Comic-Con 2015, and I've been going to New York Comic-Con for the past 3 or 4 years, and the guy, it's really, I like this. I like Cosplay is Not Consent, and I actually interviewed people there about it when I went, and I did a story for it, and I really liked just each person gave me their own individual answer about why they think what cosplay is to them, why it's important, and what effect it's had on their lives. And this is what this Cosplay is Not Consent reads. Please keep your hands to yourself. If you'd like to take a picture with or of another New York Comic-Con fan, always ask first and respect that person's right to say no. When at New York Comic-Con, be respectful, be nice, be cool, and be kind to each other. This, people going in there, you should just have this in your head. Because I think if you want to enjoy something like we do, like pop culture, anything like that, you really should respect people's creations and their expressions of themselves. You have to respect that. You can't just go up to them and be like, I'm going to take a picture of you, bye, and then no.
Yeah,
you have to, if they say no, you got to just walk away and say, your costume's cool, but thanks anyway.
Yeah, these signs are everywhere all over the Javits Center for Comic-Con, and I'm sure they do it in the San Diego Comic-Con as well. I think they actually brought it over to there as well at some point soon, recent. And just because it goes into more than just pictures and everything too. You can't just walk up to somebody and because you're dressed up as Deadpool do something inappropriate, or just because you're a certain character, just because you're dressed up as Goku doesn't mean you can't run up to somebody dressed as Vegeta and punch him in the face. It's not allowed. Come on, guys, it's common sense.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel, and also going on the female side of this, when certain girls are dressed in certain outfits and they want to portray themselves that way, you really should be respectful, and you really should not do any funny business. It's not right. It's not fair, and it kind of, I feel like we're the reason. Not myself, but people like that, men like that, are the reason that women kind of turn themselves away from comics and stuff like that, because
ultimately it's an art.
Yeah, it's, I don't know, man. The people, both men and women should be respectful of each other and their creations and their expressions of themselves. That's just what it comes down to, and it shouldn't be one-sided,
right,
for sure.
And ultimately, as they say, go have fun. Be safe, be smart, and be respectful, but go have fun. This is your playground for the next 3, 4, 5 days, one day, whatever.
Sounds like a commercial that you just.
But ultimately,
go have fun, guys. Costume and all, enjoy.
That's what it really is.
It really is. I'll agree with you there, man. Well, just to kind of start wrapping things up, I just want to say, guys, thank you all for joining us. This has been Geek Week with Chris and Nick. Once again, I'm Chris Natali.
And I'm Nick Rotundo.
And just a reminder, if you'd like to hear any of our old episodes, be sure to check out our YouTube account. We just posted on our Facebook account at www.facebook.com/geekweek885. Be sure to like us on there, subscribe to our channel, and share with all your friends and family. We really appreciate the support.
And as you know, this is the one thing we decided to add quickly in before our complete sign-off. A big movie's coming out this weekend. This is ultimately... It's ultimately
Friday,
Hugh Jackman's last Wolverine movie
and Patrick Stewart's last movie as Professor Xavier.
So this is kind of not a moment of silence, but like, just a moment of respect for them doing it for so long. And honestly, I can't wait to see that movie.
17 years since X-Men, the first movie, dude. 17 years.
So with that, be sure to check out our Instagram, Geek Week 88.5. I think at some point really late tomorrow, we'll have both of the reactions up. We're both going to go try to see this movie tomorrow as soon as we can, as long as it doesn't conflict, with school and everything. But this is just an unbelievable movie. It's gotten over a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes already.
Yeah, dude, it's been doing really, really well just from what I've heard about it. And I haven't gotten any spoilers. Thank God. People are being really respectful about that, which is good. Yeah, because usually Instagram they kind of spoil it for you, but like I'm glad people kind of honed down on that. And I feel like it is the respect they have for this movie and the characters and the actors that are playing them. So maybe that's it. I don't know, and I just can't wait to see it. Like. My girlfriend and I are really looking forward to it. She's a huge X-Men fan, like we both are. Obviously, from the last show, like we talk about X-Men comics and stuff. But oh man, I'm just so pumped, and I know about X-23, and I'm excited to see what they do with her and everything. And I just can't wait to see what else they bring to this movie. And I heard it's more realistic than CGI, so I'm just like, I'm so excited. That's great. Like I want to see this. Like the humanization of Wolverine.
You've got my
Logan.
Spidey senses tingling.
Oh my
so
gosh.
with that, go check out our Instagram for our reactions to Logan tomorrow, and go see this movie.
Yeah, well, now that I'm exasperated from that Spidey sense comment. Anyway, just if you guys haven't figured it out yet, we've already told you, this Friday we'll be attending the IBS Awards ceremony in Manhattan. Our second show about women in comics was nominated for Best Talk. Nick said earlier. So check back to our YouTube account for a video of our trip. Nick's been using a GoPro. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're really excited. And also, you're going to see the results of the ceremony as far as, like, if we win or not. We really hope we do, man.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Everybody pray for us.
Knock on wood, wherever it may be in this place. We're sad to say that we will not have a show next week due to our spring break. And as much as we want to enjoy spring break, I love doing this show every week, and I don't like missing a week, even though we had for the basketball games here. But like, I just love doing this show, dude. This hour out of my week is just great because I love talking about stuff that I really love and I'm passionate about.
Expressing yourself and just releasing the stress.
Yeah, dude. Yes,
dude. I've loved how far we've come with this. I honestly, like, I can't say enough how much I've loved this show. So with that, I think we'll sign off here and say thank you all for tuning in again. We'll see you after break. Enjoy the week off. If you're a college student, enjoy your break if you have it the same time as us, or whatever. But we'll see you in 2 weeks, and we'll fill you in after that. So thank you.
That was Geek Week with Chris and Nick. Be sure to tune in next week at 6 p.m.